So Heihachi was known for this like unbelievable damage in this game. The question is, what kind of 10 frame utility are we going to give him? And this is the big question. Is this going to return? Is he going to do a long range jab, -1 on block, and hit confirm into a wall splat? What's up guys, TheMainManSWE here, hoping you're all doing awesome as always, and this is gonna be a cool video. I'm gonna talk a little bit about Heihachi Mishima. There are actually, believe it or not, people who have just joined our community and started with Tekken 8. And they obviously know who Heihachi is, probably the most iconic Tekken character of all time. And they know Heihachi is going to join Tekken 8 now. And in my opinion, it's the best thing to happen to Tekken 8 since the release. I mean, patch 105 is up here as well, but Heihachi returning is just fucking monumental. I get this question like almost every day, like, what did Heihachi play like? What does he do? So I'm gonna do a brief overview of Heihachi here and tell you like how the character operates. And then speculate a little bit about how is he going to play in Tekken 8, because he's probably gonna get a huge rework. Reina inherited, I mean, a fucking majority of his toolkit. So they are going to have to change him a lot, and they changed Jin. I mean, Jin is unrecognizable. Kazuya, unrecognizable. Devil Jin, unrecognizable in terms of how they play. They've never changed the characters much as they've done for Tekken 8. So I know we're gonna rework Heihachi a lot, and I'm gonna speculate a little bit on that. But so first off, how does Heihachi operate? Heihachi was always known for his gigantic fucking mids, hitting so hard, like Demon Uppercut and his highs. So like, you could almost play him with Electric and Demon Uppercut alone. Devastating mids and highs, right? But not so much 50-50. His lows, not super duper bad, but kind of fucking shit. They had to buff these, by the way, over the course of Tekken 7, because when he started out, he had the absolute worst lows in the game, I would say. It's all about keeping up momentum with Heihachi. Incredible pressure with a super strong jab and a super strong down for one, and just the craziest frames imaginable. So you lock people down like this. Pitbull, that's the name of a game with Heihachi. And counter hits. You need great timing to play Heihachi. You really wanted to catch people off guard with your timing and score the big counter hit. And get huge damage. Known for his enormous damage and his enormous cock. Do something basic. Big damage. And also known for his Omen. Like, yeah, damage. Like, you have no clue how high the damage could go with this character. We have Heat now in Tekken 8, so we don't do the Rage Drive anymore. But he had the best Rage Drive in Tekken 7. 10 frame startup, his jab. Had the best jab in the game, by the way. Note the reach on this thing. Can do 1-1, Mishima 1-1, -1 on block. It's basically neutral on block, so I can do whatever the fuck I want after. Can pressure you however I want. But if this hit confirmable, wall splat. I can assure you, a lot of top players are fucking praying right now this is not a thing in Tekken 8. It's down for the one. Note the reach. That's a 13 frame mid with insane reach. Only -1 on block. -1 on block, even though it has a natural follow-up. That's very rare to see. Typically, if you have a follow-up, you're punished with your frames. But not Heihachi. Yeah, -1. And always with the threat of this follow-up. It reminds you a little bit of Brian in that typically he doesn't want a 50-50 too much. He wants to counter hit, pressure, and lure you into pressing. And Brian, you know, big frames with back one and quarter circle back one. Same with Heihachi. Can lock you down behind huge frames, right? So they resemble each other quite a bit, these two guys. Even though Heihachi has better poking, of course. And as an electric, Brian has better keep out. But also something interesting to know is that Heihachi is the most execution demanding Mishima. And always was in Tekken 7. And they helped him out a little bit. But know that for the first 3 seasons, before they added this move, Heihachi, if he blocked a Hell Sweep, had to crouch cancel electric. Block Hell Sweep, tap up to crouch cancel, and then do a super fast electric. That is incredibly demanding. If Heihachi blocks something that's minus 15 and he wants to launch, he has to electric. So this is the same as actually vanilla Tekken 8 Kazuya. Kazuya still can't launch in Tekken 8, you know, he gets down for 1-4 into guaranteed steel pedal now, which is much better than it was before. But Heihachi blocking minus 15, you have to electric it to punish, otherwise you're only doing this, right? But here's the difference, where Kazuya has 2 different notations to electric and can also, you know, due to his perfect electric, it also means he can get a 13 frame electric. Heihachi's perfect electric only has 1 notation, including down. He can never skip down. Kazuya can skip down. So it's more strict, and it comes out at 14 when it's perfectly inputted, not 13. So anytime you saw a Heihachi player block minus 15 and launch, it's like you gave that a nod of approval, because it's like very difficult to do. And the question is if this move will return for Tekken 8, giving him a good while standing punish. But also something he had problems with, a little bit like Jin, was like when someone was like minus 12 with pushback, he had a hard time punishing. That was also a problem, but to be honest, these shortcomings, looking at the track record of Tekken 8, they're probably gonna be erased, is my guess. But I did want to show you more regarding Heihachi's unbelievable damage. Say I land an Omen, right? Which again, isn't that difficult. You'll note that when I do an electric, you see I input down. When I do an Omen, do you see the difference? There's no down. That's perfect electric notation 2, we skip down. So forward neutral, down forward 1 on the exact same frame. And you get an Omen. That's Omen. Does perfect electric notation 1 also work? Yeah. Perfect electric notation 1 works, because I remembered on player 2, that's what I like to do. It might not sound like a big deal, but it is a really big deal. To do an Omen with this notation, there's no neutral. There's no neutral. Do you see that? It's forward, next frame, down for 1 on the same frame. This is very hard to do, right? There's no neutral. That is a fast input, right? And you can still do an Omen this way. But I can tap forward, and then I can actually wait quite a few frames. There's no frame perfect shit here. I tap forward, wait a few frames, and then down forward and 1. You see that space in between there? That's me waiting a lot of frames. And then down forward and 1 on the same frame. Much, much easier, way more consistent. So yeah, if you can unlearn your electric muscle memory, or keep that for the electric, see the Omen as a completely different technique. But you do want to learn Omen because it has a ton of evasion here on startup. It can go under mids. It's very evasive, much more than you think, and always beats highs. Does 1,000,000 damage. I think it's probably gonna bound, tornado bound immediately in Tekken 8. I think this is gonna be gone, doing this type of juggle. I do think it's going to be gone, but I think it's gonna bounce straight away and do a ton of damage. And it's only minus 10 on block, so you only eat a jab punish. It is a very good move. And was always his highest damage if you get a guaranteed follow-up on a knockdown. And that's obviously something you're going to see a lot in Tekken 8. Let's just say down for 1-2, just like Reina's, you can heat dash out of it. So you would knock down like this, and then you know you get that heat dash that doesn't launch, but gives you a guaranteed follow-up. You're probably gonna Omen there every time. And again, that is the absolute highest damage. Otherwise, you're doing Iron Hand, and it doesn't do nearly as much. But do you see the damage, right? So Heihachi was known for this like unbelievable damage in this game. When he was in Rage, every launch he got, if he wanted to, he would convert into this. And there you could Omen. Or, you know, you do 1 back 2. This has always been one of the best strings in Tekken history. Heihachi has always had this string. Starts with his amazing jab, goes into a mid, that mid tracks a ton to both sides, and it's -2 on block. Insane. And here he could set up his punch parry. If people try to jab you, which a lot of people would. Again, Demon Uppercut goes back to Tekken 1. And on block, launch punishable, but due to the pushback, very few characters would launch this. And hits grounded, flips on the ground. Demon Uppercut is... and tracks more than it should. This move is a nightmare for most players. And then forward free, one of the best mids in Tekken 7. You know how you get annoyed at Brian's free 4? I'm gonna remove this now. You get annoyed at Brian's free 4. Imagine Brian's free 4, but a normal hit gives a guaranteed follow-up. Right? Still is a counter-hit launcher. Tracks way better. Can hit grounded. And is -2 on block. That is basically neutral on block. This move, I would say, broken. And of course, wall splat. So again, like, God mode checks, pokes, follow-ups, pressure in general, crazy frames, crazy damage, but the problem was the execution and the lows. We actually buffed his hell sweep, they made it homing. You know, Heihachi's hell sweep launched -23 on block, like the other Mishima hell sweeps, but it never guaranteed anything, and no knockdown. Hell sweeps typically knock down, but here we have to have it connect and then take a mix-up, right? But still blockable. And some players who have really good block timing, they could fuzzy this. So what Heihachi players did in the end is just do this as a low. Because this, unseeable, homing low with good reach, but that's +8 on hit. That's very good. And specifically +8 to make the 18 frame forward free uninterruptible. If I hit you with this hell sweep and you try to dick jab, this counter it launches you. So specifically +8 to threaten forward free. And again, something that I think will carry over is Heihachi's launching punch parry. This is a launching punch parry. That's safe on block. Very, very strong. And I think it will carry over. So, Heaven's Wrath. But that's sort of it for Heihachi, and I'm just gonna speculate a little bit on what we're going to do to him. I think he's gonna keep strong jab down for 1. He's gonna still play this way. I don't think we're gonna go the 50-50 route. Because I think if you remove this signature hell sweep, that's garbage. I don't want to see this hell sweep go. It's so character defining. So don't give him that type of 50-50 utility. But, just like Reina, I would not be surprised if when he's in heat, from Heaven's Wrath, he will either have a throw, unbreakable throw, to give him that 50-50 utility. Is it a mid or an unbreakable throw? Or maybe he will also go the route of having a low from stance in heat, low heat smash. You know, something like that is bound to happen. I just assume in heat, we're gonna do more with stances with this character. They seem to love stances, stance pressure, stance mix-ups in Tekken 8, so I wouldn't be surprised if Heaven's Wrath gets more utility and more options. But again, they did that a lot with Reina. So I'm just like, should we go that route? I don't know. I just assume it's going to happen. Omen, as I said, is going to bound immediately. So that means... Oh. Double Omen combo is probably gone. Which is gonna be sad because this is so fucking swag. It's so cool to do, but it's probably gonna be gone, unfortunately. In terms of heat engagers, Iron Hand is 100% going to be one of Heihachi's heat engagers. I think While Stunning 1 is honestly gonna be a heat engager. We've done this a lot, so this is probably gonna be gone, or it's going to be heat only. Or that While Stunning 1, again, his While Stunning punishment is not that good because this is an 18 frame startup. But maybe when he's in heat, this will actually be a launcher when you heat dash out of it. It's not impossible and would be a nice buff to While Stunning punishment when he's in heat. The question is, what kind of 10 frame utility are we going to give him? And this is the big question. Is this going to return? This is the biggest question every top player is asking themselves right now. Is he going to do a long range jab, -1 on block, and hit confirm into a wall splat? This might go, to be honest. Or they make it so that only in heat. When he's in heat, this wall splat. That could very well happen. I could easily see that happening. But then the question is, are they going to carry over his 10 frame rage drive? Law has that now in Tekken 8. 10 frame counter hit confirmable launcher, right? Is Heihachi gonna have the same? When he is in heat, is he going to have this? 1 back 2, confirm into a follow-up and it launches. Counter hit utility is probably gonna stay the same, like forward 3 is gonna still be there. His homing back 4 is a mid counter hit launcher in Tekken 7. I think this is gonna be a heat engager. Down forward 1, 2, Reina has this as a heat engager. I don't think Heihachi will. And I hope he doesn't, because if this is a heat engager on Heihachi, I just think they're too similar. Or, you know, we go down the path of legacy Heihachi. And this is a heat engager, and when he's in heat, it's a launcher. Right? That was legacy Heihachi. Down forward 1, comboed into demon uppercut. Down forward 1, 2. Boom, boom. 13 frame launcher. That could happen. Absolutely not impossible. I think he's gonna go down the route of Reina, double heat smash. Would be kind of sick to have a throw. Unbreakable throw. It would fit the character more than having a low heat smash, I think. And throws are cooler. I want more, throw animations. I just hope they don't dumb him down to the extent of Jin. If they turn him into another Jin, where they patch all of his problems, and he suddenly has a can 15 frame easy launcher, he has an amazing 12 frame punish, he suddenly has a knockdown hell sweep. That would be Jinifying him, going down the Jin Tekken 8 route, and that's my greatest nightmare. That's my biggest nightmare, because I love Heihachi. This is a character where they have to nail it, because I'm gonna fucking hate them if they ruin this character. Imagine 112 is a heat engager. That would be kind of funny. I think that's gonna be it for this video. I hope it gave you an idea of Heihachi's identity, like how he plays, how he used to be, you know, some of the difficulties, the strengths and weaknesses, and also some of the stuff I expect from him. But in general, I just want to say that this is a character where they really, really have to nail it. If they do another Jin, I'm gonna be pretty heartbroken, because I expect him to be my second main. Really hope for good news on this character. So yeah, thanks for watching everyone. Have a great day. Take care.